Welcome to Cam Looks, your daily dose from the Cincinnati Art Museum. Each day, a member of the staff or volunteer will present a work from the permanent collection. Time for questions and comments. Please check back every morning at 10 a.m. for a new version of Cam Looks. My name is Bob. I'm a docent at the Cincinnati Art Museum. Today, let's engage with Bernardo Strozzi's David with the Head of Goliath. David and Goliath being one of the archetypical stories from the Bible. And in this painting, we see how the artist has portrayed the two principles from that story. The biblical story of David and Goliath is well known, not only for its role in religious narrative, but archetypically a triumph of weak over strong in the service of freedom from oppression. David was a shepherd boy, perhaps mid-teens in age. How does Strozzi portray him in the painting? Not as a shepherd boy in typical working shepherd clothes. Portrayal is highly exaggerated, as are many other aspects of this work. One imagines that shepherds wore simple clothing given their tasks. Strozzi's David, however, is dressed like a dandy, fine clothes with contrasting colors. What item stands out most prominently? Well, the headdress, both its height in the painting and the size, brilliant red color. Other exaggerations. Do you suppose this David could handle the sword used for decapitation? It's nearly as tall as he is. Or could he have carried this reputed 9-foot giant's head? Why would Strozzi make these exaggerations? Well, he was living in Venice. This painting was in 1636. And Venetian school those days was pretty opulent. There was a lot of money for painting. New ways of painting were used, and Strozzi took advantage of that. The overall aesthetic is that this portrays the triumph and the success that David enjoyed at the time, of course, but then the whole line in Israeli history thereafter. Finally, notice how the work's architecture supports the drama. Diagonals pervade, some parallel that focus the motion. The sword, David's breast ribbon, his left arm, and the feather in his cap. More subtly, his gaze elevates toward heaven, to God, showing his job being well done. All those diagonals pertain to David and draw the eye with their directions. Goliath is in contrast, both in volume and in direction. The stone embedded in his forehead completes his countenance, and the plane of his head is in counterpoint to the planes of David. This is a bold, dramatic, exaggerated version of the story. At your next visit to the Cincinnati Art Museum, please come to Gallery 202 and engage with Strozzi's magnificent painting of this biblical story.